So I had some questions on the wiring of this system from some people, and I figured I'd do a quick video to explain it. This is the first to finish drag racing start tree system with integrated timing. Barely integrated timing at the moment, but it works. So, have my Arduino, have my two buck converters, 12 volts and 5 volts. I have 4 timer relays. They are, because the cars are going so fast at the finish line, that I actually wanted to trigger these and make a 6/10 of a second output rather than the blip fraction of a second that the cars break the beams, because they're little RC cars. They're not very big. I have all of these relays down here, and then underneath I have a 16 channel relay board that does all of the lights. So if I hit the reset button, you'll hear all the 16 channel relays on the bottom trigger as it tests the lights. So the black button here is a reset button. So 14 relays just keyed up and 14 relays just turned off. Those relays run off of this. So this puts 5 volts out. The relays take that 5 volts, turn on and off based on the 5 volt output, and then it turns on the corresponding 12 volts that goes out to the lights. So I followed a very basic wiring color scheme. Output 1 is red, output 2 is black. So pre-stage light, stage light. White is the top yellow, green is the middle yellow, orange is the bottom yellow, blue is the green light, and yellow is the red light. So just simply going red, black, white, green, orange, blue, yellow, and then brown is a ground, so 0 volts. So this puts out 5 volts. This is 0 volts. That goes to the relays underneath. And then out of the relays, it triggers this. Again, the colors don't matter as long as you know what they do. So if I hit reset, all my lights turn on, then they turn off. Yay. On the sides, I have a DB9 connector. There's one on each side. That goes out to the sensors that aren't currently hooked up. The sensors are 12 volts DC. The Arduino takes 5 volt inputs. So 20 volt drill battery power and everything. Comes over, goes to this little sensor here so I can see how much power I've used, how much I have left, etc. Kind of like a nice little meter. I don't know where I found it. Obviously I bought it from Amazon, but I think I saw it on Facebook or something. My 12 volt buck converter. So that powers all of the lights in the tree, as well as these relays here, right? These relays here are 12 volt relays that get triggered by the sensors. So, anyways, out of here, red and black goes out to power the sensors. They come back and trigger these relays. So these relays, white is my first input, so red and black, 12 volts. White is my first input, so that's the pre-stage. Green is the second one, that's the stage. Orange is the jump start. Blue would be a 122 foot beam. And then way over here, we have power and ground. Yellow is the finish beam. So I've got 5 sensors. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 relays. On the other side, same thing, right? I go white, green, orange, blue, and yellow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I also have this wireless relay deal here, so I can reset people that finish. If a car crashes and doesn't finish, I can reset the lane with a wireless transmitter. Same thing as these two blue lights up here. Or blue buttons. So we restarted this and it's been counting away. We're going to stop and clear our timers. So, anyways, if we were to run a simulated race without any sensors hooked up, I have my start buttons here, right? Instant green, pro tree, standard tree. This is reset. So if I just did a standard race start, yellow, 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 green, there were no cars staged, so the stage lights never came on. But we see our timers are running. And then down here, the two center ones were kind of free, so I hooked them up to those blue buttons in the top. So if I hit the blue button, that's the left lane finished. If I hit this blue button, that's the right lane finished. We can look at our timers and see that our timers worked. 17.15, 21.557. Pretty long race. But anyways, this is off the blue button. This is off the finish beam. This is off the other blue button. This is off the other finish beam. I should probably point the phone at something that I'm looking at, right? So this is off the blue button. I'm sorry. This is off the finish beam, the finish sensor. This is off the blue button. So if I hit that blue button, we see that relay toggles up. This is off the finish beam for the right lane. This is off the other blue button. So if I hit the other blue button, ta-da. So basically, that takes all these 12 volt inputs, and I've got 5 volts running in over here to all of the commons. See how the commons are jumpered together, except for this green one, whatever reason. All these commons are jumpered together. Oh, because they go up here. Those timers are up here too. Anywho, commons are jumpered together. Red is pre-stage, out. Black is stage out. White is whatever the next sensor is. Jump start, false start. Green is the 132 feet. Orange is finish, and it's in parallel with its next door neighbor, orange. They look like they're common normally closed on here. That's why. Yeah, they're all normally closed inputs. Boy, I should really know what I'm doing here first. So normally open is open. Normally closed has a wire. So all of these are closed switches. Those closed switches on those relays go to the inputs. So input 2 is the left lane pre-stage. Input 3 is the right lane pre-stage. Input 4 is the left lane stage. Input 5 is the right lane stage, and so on and so forth. So you can see that the colors up there should match the colors down below. Yellow and brown, I think, are spares. I gotta find out what are yellow and brown. Oh, yellow and brown are running off of this. So those are inputs to start the race. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are sensors. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 and 11, I believe, are inputs for starting it either via this push button up here or that's relay down here. Boy, this gets really confusing really quickly, doesn't it? Oranges, where do the oranges go? Oh, they're underneath. Yellow, brown, 2 oranges. But anyways, if you look in the code, it'll tell you what the pins do. It doesn't matter what color wires you use, as long as your inputs come off your relays, your outputs go to your 12-volt relays that are underneath this board. And again, we can reset both of our timers. We can call up another race. I don't know, let's try instant green. Instant green is working as... I got the green and the yellow wired backwards. That's awesome. So that was Pro Tree, not instant green. And then, of course, right lane finishes, left lane finishes. We have our times. So, pretty confusing. Pretty easy if you go one wire at a time. Look at the Arduino code. Your inputs are down here. There's some auxiliary inputs that I added after the fact when I went from a Nano to a Mega 2560. Your outputs are all here. This is only putting out 5 volts. So it goes to the 16-channel relay system underneath that we're only using 14 channels of. Brown is your ground, but pre-stage, stage, jump start. No. These are the lights, silly. So, pre-stage, stage, top yellow, middle yellow, bottom yellow, green, and red. So basically top to bottom, pre-stage, stage, top yellow, middle yellow, bottom yellow, green, and red. So doesn't matter what colors you use as long as you know what they do. And since you're isolating them with relays, you can basically just wire up the relay, fire up the Arduino, run your test programs, and see, right? If I hit this blue button, it lights that relay. If I hit the other blue button, it lights the other relay. If I had sensors plugged in, which I don't at the moment, I could light all of these relays. So once again, pre-stage, stage, red light, 122 foot, 132 foot finish line for 10th scale quarter miles. But again, these 3 are right at the starting line. These 2 are at the finish line. Same way over here. These 3 are at the starting line. These 2 are at the finish line. These 2 I just wired in off of that pair of buttons, as well as this relay, I believe, kicks them on. That would probably explain the blues and oranges here. So pre-stage beam detector, stage, red light. Blue is 122 foot beam. Yellow is finish line. I hope that makes sense. So these are inputs from the sensors, right? So these are the inputs from the sensors, these 4 and this 1, for a total of 5 sensors. These 2 are inputs from those 2 buttons. I hope that makes sense. The rest of this foolishness I'll get to later, right? These oranges and blues. What are these greens? These greens go to... I don't even know where those greens go to. That's the finish line green. The orange is 132 foot. I'd have to plug the sensors in. I would think I would do that, right? Everything else has been left to right on this side, right to left on this side, just to keep the colors the same. White, green, orange, blue, yellow, and then white, green, orange, blue, and yellow. The red and blacks, of course, are positive voltage, and these are 12 volts. So 12 volts going out to the sensors off of that buck converter. 12 volts come back to the sensor, back from the sensor to the relay when the sensor is active, when a car is blocking the sensor. So that's the wiring. If I pulled this little black panel off, you would freak, because there's a Brazilian wires underneath here that are all going this way and that, and it's not very neatly packaged underneath. And then of course these wires basically come off of the same relay pack underneath that also drives the big start light tree. The big start light tree plugs into those two DB9 connectors. I should have used like a DB25 or one bigger connector, but I just did a female and a male connector there. The one on the left actually runs the right side of the tree, and the one on the right in the picture actually runs the left side of the tree, because we're looking at the back of the box. And that's pretty much it. So again, all of these are your light outputs. They go to a 16-channel relay underneath. That 16-channel relay goes to all of those lights, as well as out to the big tree. So there's the big tree. I also built a mini tree for shop testing. So inside the mini tree, we've got essentially the same thing we've got in the control box, right? So we've got our Arduino here. All the sensors are wired. The sensors come in on these two DB9s. There's all your sensor wires, inputs down here. But here is all of your light outputs. The lights basically go over to the inputs here. And then 12 volts DC is daisy chained down the relays. And then come up and hit the back of the lights. Pretty messy once you open the lid. Not too shabby when you got it all covered up and hidden. So, not a bad project. Oh, I got to keep remembering that you can't twist and turn your computer screen or phone while I'm trying to do this video. As well as I can twist my phone and make everybody seasick. So, there you go. 20 minutes on how to wire it. None of it's easy. But just remember, every sensor gets 12 volts sent to it. And then it sends 12 back when the sensor is interrupted. So, let me get the little tree out of the way. And here's the sensor. Oh, yeah, there's a sensor in there. So there's a beam detector in there. It comes with the world's worst wire color pattern I could think of. I think brown is positive, blue is negative, and black is your output. Something like that. It's really weird. But that's just a beam detector. It shines at a reflector. And when the beam detector, of course, being powered by brown and blue, when the beam detector is interrupted, it sends power out on the black. The power out on the black goes down the cable to the DB9 connector. The DB9 into these relays up here. So if it was the pre-stage, it would trigger this. Thanks a lot. I hope you're not too confused, because I am. Have a great night.